Last time on the program, we get to spend more time with James. Hooray! We met back up with Realm, and he's creepy and possessive. In fact, both the boys are creepy and possessive. Sloane got a scary headache and went to make out with Realm about it. It turns out her brain is just low-key repairing itself.
Alright, I've been putting this off for like 3 hours. I just watched reels. But here we are. We're getting close to the end. Yeah, there's like only 3 chapters left. I have a sneaky suspicion we are going to get absolutely no closure in this book because it only seems interested in finally like maybe setting some things up right here at the very end. So yes, we wasted our time. Doesn't that make you feel great? My writing advice with this book is that if you are writing a series, I highly recommend that each book is able to be a story on its own, a complete story on its own. Not every single thing needs to be tied up, but if your first book is just leading people on into the next book and that's all it does, I'm not gonna read it. Don't worry, I have an emotional support cupcake. Yes, it has fallen over. Thank you for noticing. So she's back in the car with James. She's riding in cars with boys. And he's like, I want to take you to this really beautiful spot. And I'm waiting to see if it turns out to be the cliff where her brother threw himself to his death. James is explaining a little bit of his sad.
But what about this? 'Cause fit hot guys have problems too.
He keeps her at arm's length because he doesn't want her to leave him. He has abandonment anxiety. I am someone with abandonment anxiety, and I struggle with the urge. Anytime anybody doesn't speak to me for a while, I struggle with the urge to be like, just shut them out of your life. Abandon them before they fully abandon you, because clearly they don't love you anymore. So, like, I get it, but the way that he's doing it is very cliched and bookish. The whole, come here. No, go away, you're gonna hurt me. No, come here. The thing about having abandonment anxiety, at least mine, is that it doesn't really trigger if someone is like wanting to hang out with me and pay attention to me. It triggers if they stop, and then I think that, oh, well, clearly they have grown bored of me or found someone better, so I better just push them away completely. But he seems to have it if someone pays any kind of attention to him. Oh no, they're paying attention to me. They must be about to abandon me. Well, would you look at that? These two kids are sad and miserable because they know they are missing memories, and they're actually sad about that. So it's almost like the program wouldn't actually ever work.
You're making it worse!
Sloane is so trying to be into Bad Boys, liking the easy, calm expression on his face, especially when I know there's something darker underneath.
A good boy, a bad boy, a good bad boy, a half good, half bad, half boy.
Oh no, this is dangerous. And that maybe the other side of that darkness is fierce love. You can like people who are kind of dark and edgy, and that's fine, but watch out for that thinking like, oh, he's so mean and aggressive, but the other side of that is that he must be very protective, and, you know, I like a jealous streak on a man, and that kind of thing. Woo-hoo. That's dangerous. If there's something darker underneath, the other side of that darkness is not fierce love. It's abuse. In real life, that's what it is. She touches his arm, where his scars are, where his tattoos used to be, and he's like, I like it when you touch me. It felt nice, he says quietly, when you touched me like that. Oh, baby. Okay, he does take them to the river. Is it the spot where her brother killed himself? I don't know if they're going to tell us, if they're going to admit that. I'm a horrible person, but she says, if I was ever going to feel closer to my brother, it would be here. I have a terrible sense of humor, but I can't stop thinking about it. Come, let's have a nice picnic in a place where you feel close to your brother, because this is where you watched him throw himself to his death. Then James decides he's going to teach her how to swim. I don't know if this is going to cause a flashback. He is swimming in this river as though it is a lake. And what we have seen of this river previously is that it's a rather aggressive river. Like, people get washed downstream in it. It is a fast-moving river. And then he just, like, swims out to a little boat dock on the other side and just does a dive. Those are things you do in a nice, quiet lake, not things you do in a fast-moving river. Also, it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit and he's not freezing his ass off somehow.
Come on in! The water's great!
While he is splish-splashing around in the not a lake. She goes and picks up his clothes and is like tidying them, and lo and behold, a ring identical to her ring, the plastic ring that she has, falls out of his pocket. What could it mean? Look how easy it is for a couple to come back together. Why was everybody so much like, no, it can never happen? Also, if this girl, who is quite frankly dumb as a box of rocks, can get past the system so easily, then lots of other kids could too, and therefore the program could not be working. But again, I don't actually know what the program really is, and if it's going to turn out to just be like some weird other thing to control or kill a generation of teenagers.
Get used to disappointment.
James sees her freaking out. He comes back to shore. They have a little chat. He puts the ring on her finger, and then he asks if they can kiss. So they begin to kiss. Obviously, and she feels like it's familiar but not familiar. How much more interesting would this be if we started up the story with her in the program and having already forgotten this boyfriend, and then we slowly, with her, learn about her past and the missing pieces and the gaps. So they make out and they're rolling around in the grass, and she's like, he's not the asshole I thought he was, not even close. He was barely asshole-ish. Like, she keeps being like, he's so dark, he's so brooding, ugh, he's so damaged. And, like, where's the proof? Occasionally, he can be a bit of a jerk and, like, leave when you want him to stay. He doesn't even necessarily know how much it hurts your feelings when he leaves. He probably doesn't know at all. So, like, he is not some big, dark, bad boy like you think he is. Alright, that was the end of that chapter. They were just making smoochies by the river, and I'm gonna assume it was in the spot where her brother threw himself to his death. She thinks about telling him that they used to date, but she decides that would ruin everything. Because you know what ruins relationships? Honesty. Is this book just gonna end with, oh joy, they got back together? Literally, the book ends in the same place that it started. For some reason this time, after all the times they have easily snuck out and no one has caught on or said anything, this time her parents have figured out she's been gone most of the day, and they have tried to call her. And she's like, shit, my parents are the ones who put me into the program. They can put me back. So James is like, put your parents on speaker so I can listen in. And he glides the car into an empty lot of an abandoned farm. I live in Wisconsin, and I can't think of any abandoned farms that you could just cruise into and sit around. They're not like parking lots, okay? The countryside isn't just dotted with abandoned farms. Unless they are trying to give us a hint about this world, like there are so few people left that there are just abandoned farms that you can cruise into. But I really don't think Suzanne Young is trying to say anything with that. So she suspects her mother is not alone, but then also James talks, so her mother knows that he's there. So everybody's suspicious of everybody now. How much longer until these fuckers turn 18? Because they've got to be really close. Are they still time traveling, like back in time so they can stay teenagers forever? So I feel like that's what they're doing at this point. Are they going to go live in the woods until they turn 18? I mean, maybe. Then they will disappear off the government's radar completely and they can just go off the grid, whatever they want to do. James is once again, as in the beginning of the book, promising he will always take care of her. He's like, if we have to run away, I will do whatever it takes. I will protect you forever. Which she finds so hot that they throw themselves into the backseat and start ripping off each other's clothes. This girl is really into being protected by boys. She's being very dominant in the sex though, so, you know, we love to see it. He, of course, brought some condoms because teenage boys be ever hopeful. She says, we've probably set off every red flag there is. Oh no, honey. This is tame compared to some romance that I have seen, even YA romance. And of course they've decided to run away, so they get some maps of local campsites and they're just gonna camp. I assume he has camping gear in the vehicle. I also assume that somehow neither of them are being tracked via their cell phones, but maybe they are, and these kids are too dumb to realize that. She gets a text from an unknown number, but she's pretty sure it's Realm, and it says, I need to see you immediately, in all caps. So, you know, that's not creepy. Because this girl is, a tactical genius, she says we have to go to Realm's house. Why? No. What? Alright.
Not a great plan.
I don't know why they had her almost figure out that Realm was probably a bad guy and then, like, backtrack it. Because I thought what was going to happen is then later down the line here, she would get some sort of instinct, some sort of half memory that maybe Realm can't be trusted. But no, she's completely ready to trust him, go to his house, figure out what's wrong. I imagine maybe that part earlier was to cement for the reader that he's a bad guy, while then wiping her memory so she doesn't know he's a bad guy. But like, come on. James does start to behave a little possessively, so we are looking at some not so great relationship territory here when she's like, we have to go to Realm, and he's like, if Realm kisses you, I will fight him.
If she ever kisses you, I'll turn you into a prince.
You will?
Prince of the land of stench.
And that's the end of that, and we've only one chapter left, and the epilogue, as far as I know. Hello. Alright, I am wearing this lab coat that I picked up for a potential future Dr. Horrible from Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along blog cosplay, because I can cosplay short blonde men. But today it's coming in handy, because I'm cosplaying one of the doctors from the program. Because yes, we are going to finish it, the last chapter, and the prologue. And then we're going to see if we can figure out what the other books are about, because I don't think we're going to get a single damn answer from this thing. Because this got like 5 pages left, like the last chapter is like 5 pages long. There's not enough words, simply not enough words in all of those pages to give us answers for any of this bullshit. So as you can see, I even have a clipboard, which has somebody else's name on it. We just, we get clipboards. I have a clipboard, and on it you can see, this is the chart, we have the plot, and let me just get your diagnosis here. Yes, as I thought. There is nothing. Don't worry, book. Many people can go through surgery to get a plot. Unfortunately, your author did not care enough about you to give you one. And finally, I was gonna get like little candies that look like pills, but then I didn't. But we do have M&Ms again, so remember to take the red pill, everyone. I can't actually eat them because I'm wearing lipstick. Let's go. Let's read this bad boy. Let's get this over with. Whenever I'm finishing up a read-along, like as relieved as I am to finish the book, I am also gonna miss it just a little bit. Like part of me always misses it. Because there is nothing quite like sitting down in front of a camera to just read a bad book and talk to you. Oh, also, it's Pride. It's Pride as I'm filming this, so Asexual Spider says hello! Chapter 14. Ooh, we begin with our heart skipping a beat. They're going to Realm's house because she has had the terrible idea that he is going to help them. There's a mystery car in Realm's driveway, but she's still like, we're going ahead with it. James is like, rightfully, whose car is that? And she's like, doesn't matter, we're just gonna keep going. Here's something else you don't need. Just then, the front door of his house opens. Just then isn't necessary. It is clear because it is the next thing that you, the author, are telling us that it is happening exactly then. So just say, the front door of his house opens. Oh no. There's a woman who's walked out onto the porch. Does she look like me? If she looks like me, you need to run. Is she blonde? Is she wearing a lab coat? I don't have high heels, but pretend I do. Is she wearing high heels? Because you need to flee. Apparently, she was there the day that Realm was released from the program. I don't remember who that was. And of course, the main character is like, I should talk to her, because she randomly is very, very trusting. So of course, she goes up to talk to this lady. And the lady says that Realm is gone and he's not coming back. And our main character is just like, oh, how could he leave without telling me? Instead of being like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck is going on?
Run, bitch! Run!
This is Realm's sister. Okay. Everything is lining up for our main character to be in real trouble, but also to potentially find out, like, in the next book, what's really going on with the program. Of course, if our main character had a cautious or thoughtful bone in her body, this scene would not be happening at all. They would have taken one look at that strange car in Realm's driveway and just been like, nope, we're out, and that would have been the end of it. And then she tells his sister, I do need his help, I'm in trouble right now, like, Sloane, honey, you have learned nothing. I think you have become more clueless as this book has gone on, and not because parts of your memory were erased. Most characters, as they progress through a book, at least pick up a few extra skills. Even if they don't make a huge change in personality, they bring new things to the table at the end of the book that they didn't have at the beginning, but not Sloane. Not Sloane. But it turns out the sister might actually be a good guy. Unclear. Still, I don't trust her. But she's like, I agree that you guys need to run. The program has been monitoring you, to which I'm like, yeah, duh. Somehow they have been monitoring even her midnight drives, her texts, her phone calls, everything. She's being watched. Big Brother is watching. Okay, so Kevin is indeed a friend of theirs, and he was pulled off her case, and that alerted them that something was going on. Too bad Kevin was still a bit of a douche nozzle the whole time. There's already an Amber Alert out for both of them. How old are these kids? Like, it's gotta be like 2 minutes until both of them turn 18. But I'm sure the next, like, 2 books, I think there are 3 books in this series, they won't turn 18 through any of those books, I bet. We're never gonna find out what happens when you turn 18. The depression will be infecting adults fully as well, and it won't even matter, and so this whole, like, arbitrary 18 cutoff thing was just in this book to add some sort of weird false tension that didn't really succeed at because nobody is ever over 18. The epidemic is spreading, she says. Michael wants you to go east. He says there's a group that can help hide you. Kevin will help. He's been conspiring with your friend Lacey for some time. They know about the rebels. Rebels against the program? Okay, we got rebels. Y'all, this cannot be a dystopian world. This is barely a dystopian. But this cannot be a dystopian world without rebels. Capital R, rebels. I don't know how you rebel against an epidemic of depression, but I'm assuming the epidemic is not actually real. Do the rebels have a better solution for the disease? I'm asking a lot of questions because I don't think this book is going to answer any of them. Apparently the rebels just, like, were hopeful that James would, like, crack the case wide open because he's such a rebellious soul himself. But no, he's actually also kind of a dumbass. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on in this last chapter. It's just like a mile a minute. I'm having to stop like every paragraph to tell you a new chunk of information. But they're supposed to take Anna's car. They're switching cars, presumably so they can't be tracked, although I would be way too suspicious. I'd be like, I'll switch cars, but not with you. You might not even be his fucking sister. You could be anyone. And then they're supposed to go to the rest stop on the Idaho border, which I'm gonna hope is like GPS'd in the car, because otherwise the rest stop on the Idaho border, where is the rest stop? And then there they have to pick up Michael and Lacey. Lacey is already there somehow and for some reason, I guess, because she's already a rebel who eats orange cupcakes. And then they're supposed to go. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It's the peasant who I saw leaving the city who disappeared into the crowd with Cusco in the back of his cart. He must have taken him back to his village, so if we find the village, we find him, and if we find him, we find Cusco. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Sloane wonders for the length of a single sentence whether she should trust Anna, and then just decides, yes, she's Realm's sister, so I trust her. Cool. At the last second, Anna is like, wait, Realm wanted me to give you one other thing, and she pulls a little plastic baggie out of her pocket, and there's an orange pill inside. We got an orange pill, everyone. Don't panic. What does it do? Let's find out what our orange pill does. It melts in your mouth, not in your hand, is what it does. It's meant to bring back the lost memories, some more quickly than others. So they just have a pill that just brings all your memories back. To erase your memories, they need hours of therapy, pill after pill, sometimes injectable drugs. One orange pill, all your memories back.
Ain't that convenient?
Let's do it, bitches. There's only one. There can be only one. Because she's like, what about James? And Anna is like, there's only one orange pill. They only manufacture one. Did you only get your hands on one? Like, elaborate? No? Okay, cool. What happens if you break the pill in half and you each take half of it? That's what I would do. Again, this would be so much more powerful if the book had started when she was in the program or when she was getting out of the program, so that we, the reader, don't have a complete picture of everything that happened in her life until now. Because she's sitting going like, what if I get my memories back and I realize that James betrayed me and he's the reason I got sent to the program, or something like that. She's like, what if I realize things about my life and my new boyfriend that I don't want to remember? And it's like, wouldn't that be so much cooler if we, the reader, didn't know that she would be fine and all she would find were happy memories about how much she loved him? This whole pill situation is making Sloane cry. She does love a good cry, but don't worry, I'm sure James will give her a cuddle afterwards. Take one cuddle and call me in the morning. She decides not to take the pill right now, which honestly, Good choice. Wait until you're in a better state to start just remembering things. You don't know how that's gonna go. And she puts it in her pocket. She says, we'll meet Lacey and Kevin and sneak away, start over somewhere else. We'll leave our parents, our lives, but most of all, we'll leave the reach of the program. Will you? Does the reach of the program just in your state? I thought it was going to other countries at this point. And we gotta have this little moment where she thinks that she might also like to rebel. I think that maybe Realm is wrong, that James isn't the only troublemaker, the only one willing to take up the cause. He's not the only one who wants to fight. Since when, bitch? Since when? Unless you're talking about Realm. You've got nothing. You've got no agency. You just drift along where the wind takes you. You're not even fleeing of your own volition. You're fleeing because your boyfriend was like, get in the car, let's go. And we end with one of the weakest sentences. So with that thought, I begin again. M dash. Thinking to myself, unnecessary, who else would you be thinking to unless you develop psychic powers, that sometimes, ... the only real thing is now. Wow, that was a truly terrible sentence. I don't advise you end your book that way. That did not make me want to read the next one. Alright, but we're going to read the epilogue, which starts 2 weeks later. Do you remember who Allison is? I think Allison is a character who is kind of mentioned, but I don't remember. But the epilogue stars Allison, and she's in the program. Oh, Realm is here. He's back in doing his job. He's going by William now, trying to get the girl Allison to like calm down and just play cards with him so that she will go along with the program. Finally, we get a little taste of something that we didn't know. Here, there is a redheaded girl as well acting as like the foil to Realm, just like the girl in the previous place where we were with our main character. What is the purpose of her? But like, I know it's not going to be deeper. Like, my brain is worrying, like, ooh, what's going on with that? But it's probably just so that the whatever girl Realm is trying to bamboozle will trust him more. Oh, everybody's the same. Okay, so when you go through the program, everyone is the same? Because he's got the same guys. He's got Shep and Derek here playing cards with him. This seems like needlessly complicated. Like, I get having Realm there. I could come up with reasons for the other girl. Like, just in case maybe Realm doesn't succeed, she might be able to be like, oh, you don't like Realm, I don't like Realm either, let's be friends, you know, that kind of thing. But if everybody's the same, that means that only like one person goes through the program at a time, and that doesn't make any sense. People are constantly being dragged away. So either we're being given a hint that maybe those people are just being killed somewhere, or the author is just not smart enough to think of that. Which I feel like it's probably the second one.
Is it supposed to be stupid?
It's not stupid. It's advanced.
Uh-oh. Realm calls Allison Sloane, so he's clearly still hung up on Sloane, wherever she is. And that's pretty much the end. They play cards. Allison feels better about being there. And that's it. So, yes, we got no answers. 0 answers. There's a little excerpt from the next book, but I just don't want to read it.
So I thought the program didn't make any sense to begin with, but now it makes even less sense because of the implication that people go through the program one at a time, and there are like multiple people, not only doctors and therapists, but also plants, not just Realm, but everyone that Sloane interacted with at the program was not another member, like not another kid going through the program. They were all plants. So that's like very labor intensive for one person. And do they only do that with the girls? Because James said that he was just like in his room the whole time. Or was he lying? I don't think we're ever going to get any of these answers, but this all seems like really terrible plotting, quite frankly. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. If the program's goal is to brainwash as much of the population as possible, this is very labor-intensive for not a lot of payout. If their goal is for lots of children to die of the suicide epidemic, then why do they even have the program at all? It just doesn't make any sense.
Suzanne Young, I'm reading her author bio. At least at the time of writing this bio, she was teaching high school English, which, does not give me a lot of faith in her English teaching skills, because wow. Okay, I'm gonna go online and try to find the synopses of the next books, but before I do, let's just, like, final thoughts about this monstrosity. Yeah, I mean, we knew it wasn't gonna be good. Hello. But, again, did not expect where this went, because it, quite frankly, didn't go anywhere. It really did kind of make sense that this was divided up into 3, because it kind of is 3 different novellas. The first part where she's trying not to get into the program, the second part where she's trying to get out of the program, and then the third part where she's back to trying not to get into the program again. I'm sorry, there's a wren on my bird feeder, and I love wrens. They're one of my favorite, possibly my favorite songbirds. They're so cute and little, and he's singing. I have been feeling more and more like I need books that have stronger plots. I really need to feel like the story is driving towards something to keep my attention. If it has good characters, I can usually stick it out, but nowadays it needs to have good characters and an at least somewhat decent plot, and this book had neither of those things. This book really made me wonder about traditional publishing. This is older. The traditional publishing scene has probably changed in some ways, though it changes very slowly, because it's all about, you know, big money, mostly. This has blatant errors in it. Most noticeably being that these characters are in fact intended to be 17, but if you do the math with their ages at the beginning of the book, they are not. Nobody caught that. Like, people give me such a hard time for typos in my books, but nobody caught this, and this is professionally published by one of the big publishing houses. I simply cannot. It gives me a little bit of faith that maybe I can be published, but no, it also makes me wonder, like, should I dumb my writing way down? Am I trying too hard? Alright, I'll probably come up with more things to talk about as we go, but I'm gonna see if I can find, hopefully the Wikipedia will just tell me the plot of the next 2 books, but if not, I'm gonna have to go dumpster diving into Goodreads reviews to see if I can find one with spoilers, because what's going on? What are the rebels, and what are they doing, and how do you rebel against an epidemic? I just need to know, so I'm gonna look over here at my laptop and see if I can figure out what the fuck. Oh dear. Somebody has written like a thoughtful essay praising how the author has like explored mental illness and suicide, and I'm just like, in what world? Like, I have a weird feeling that Suzanne Young would be one of those people who was like, are you depressed? Have you tried going for a run every morning? A nice runner's high will just cure your mental illness, I'm sure. Or if I was like, hey, Suzanne, I'm having a lot of anxiety right now, she'd just be like, well, stop it. If this book is a commentary on anything, it is a commentary on the system and over-medicating kids and over-treating kids. She probably thinks that kids with ADHD just need to get over it, like it's not real. Like, all of those things. This is older. This is an older book. Okay, I think I've found a plot synopsis of the treatment. I'm gonna read through this real quick. Apparently, Sloane and James are picked up by Casanova Gutierrez and Dallas Stone, who are rebels. They found Lacey, but not Kevin. Bye, Kevin. You were kind of a pointless character anyway, so it's probably fine that you're gone. Apparently, Sloane still refuses to take the orange pill that she was given that will bring back her memories. Of course, because she's just like worried that she won't like James anymore. Well, okay, so we need to add a trigger warning if we were to read this next book. They find out that Dallas was repeatedly raped when he was in the program. So, yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is the most Sloane thing ever, though. I'm just gonna read it. One night, Dallas takes Sloane and James to the Suicide Club. The Suicide Club is an underground club where people dress in black and heavy makeup to disguise themselves. So they go to like a goth emo club, and like Sloane must just be so happy there. Okay, we're tackling the idea of alcohol being used as far as dealing with mental illnesses. don't think Suzanne Young can handle that topic. Lacey starts getting headaches and nosebleeds, and then she runs away. I'm assuming that she's mutating and she's getting superpowers, because at this point that might as well happen. Realm is back. He has a confrontation with James. She's probably standing off to the side like, boys, no, stop that. And eventually, after they have done the requisite number of punches to each other, she will throw herself in between. And one boy will storm off, and she will nurse the other boy who's more injured. We seem to have dropped the thread that the epidemic is getting worse. At least it's not mentioned in this synopsis, but the leader of the program has showed up and he's like, I need the cure, the one orange pill, because apparently we did not figure out how to make more of those. And he has lost control of the program, and the government is just making all teenagers go through the program now. So we have a big bad government going on. They give you a line from the book that says, mandatory admittance for people who aren't depressed is like mass brainwashing. It's not like mass brainwashing, it is mass brainwashing. Some sick and twisted version of utopia. So we have your classic, the bad guy thinks that they will make the world a better place if they do very evil thing. It is so confusing though, because like, was there actually an epidemic in the first place, or did sometime some guy, probably in a lab coat, decide the world would be better if teenagers never felt emotions, so I'm just gonna need to wipe all of their memories and we will create a perfect world. Like, if you're writing a dystopian, please think about it a little bit harder than that, okay? He tells Sloane that the program has been misused and that he realized that traditional therapy is probably the best option for treating the suicides. I got nothing. This is so stupid. Yes, obviously, but like, how did you get to we have to wipe the children's memories? If actual like normal therapy worked, why did you go for we have to wipe their memories? We got another line from the book that essentially says human beings are shit and given the chance they will always choose evil. I can't think of a reason for my bad guys to be bad, so I'm just gonna go with humans are shit. I know we do and have done a lot of terrible things, but this is just a really, really lazy way of doing it. So the person who made the orange pill, the memory pill, she was like so close to finally perfecting it, and then she was whisked away. Sloane and her cohorts admit to having the last pill, but the guy doesn't try to take it from them, he just fucking leaves, so I guess cool. And then James is missing.
Help. Police. Murder.
And our main character is forced to travel with Realm, Cass, and Dallas to another safe house. Of course she just goes with boys. I would be very surprised if Lacey even really has a part in this. We gotta get this teenage girl with these guys as much as possible. A lot of authors who write these kind of books for teenage girls just kind of always have the girls hanging around boys. I almost feel like it's like the author is afraid to write other women, and I just think that's lazy. So they get to a small farmhouse outside of Lake Tahoe, and James meets back up with them. It's not telling me where he went or why, aside from the fact that Sloane probably needed some time alone with Realm to reestablish that part of the love triangle. But oh no, one of the guys that they were traveling with was a plant, and he gives them away to the program. And apparently this book leaves off with another cliffhanger of Sloane in the program. She's going to be lobotomized in 2 weeks because, again, they just lobotomize children. Everyone's fine with that because humans are evil, okay? This synopsis is fairly short and keeps to, like, the events that are happening. Still doesn't tell me where James went or why, but unimportant. But I'm guessing that it's probably fairly meandering. It probably is a lot more plotless. It doesn't even sound like, even in this short synopsis, it doesn't sound like Sloane ever really has thoughts of her own or a mission of her own. It doesn't say Sloane is determined to do this, Sloane does this. She just floats along wherever these boys decide to take her. And they're like, you're a rebel now. And she's like, okay, cool. And also I have the orange pill, which I presume they take from her when she gets back into the program. So, There's a little bit of a review at the end of this synopsis, and it says, Young never quite fully explains some of the questions readers will be left with. Apparently Lacey did end up back in the program. Did I mention that? Was that mentioned above? I don't remember. Alright, let's see if we can find out what happens in the third book, The Remedy. Hopefully there will be a nice synopsis for me again here. Okay, so The Remedy isn't the next book in the series. It's a prequel. There doesn't seem to be like a good plot summary of it. Does the program just end with the treatment and Sloane just like maybe gonna be killed? Okay, there's more. There's more books in the series. There's also The Epidemic and The Adjustment. Okay, so The Epidemic, this is very confusing, seems to be the second book in the Remedy series, which takes place in the same world, but earlier. So we're probably finding out, like, how the depression epidemic started? Maybe? It seems like it might be a man-made epidemic, because her father works in the grief department. Whatever that is. It's very confusing. I might have to put the Remedy in the next read-along vote, just because maybe then we'll get some answers about the world. So in this little like blurb, we are seeing that the main character of this series gets to meet up with characters. We haven't seen anything of Sloane or James yet, but gets to meet up with characters from this series. This is confusing. This is wow. I did not think that they would just end. I mean, oh, Sloane's gonna be lobotomized in 2 weeks. The end. Like, what? We get nothing. We get no answers except for humans are bad, and now they want to lobotomize all the children.
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
Okay, the last book is The Adjustment. That sounds like the main character just goes to get her spine, like, realigned by a chiropractor. Oh, now we're following a completely different character! What the fuck? It seems like this author loves to give you, like, 2 books and then leave you hanging without any true information and just start writing about a different character instead. The Adjustment sounds like exactly what this one like was going to be, and then it like switched gears, but it stars a character whose longtime boyfriend goes into the program and he doesn't remember her, and she decides to just like fall back in love with him. Also, this main character's name is Tatum. Apparently in this one, there's a thing called The Adjustment where you can get memories implanted from a donor. Like, what does that serve? Isn't the point of the program to erase your memories permanently, but now you get a memory from someone else? Like, what? This one definitely seems like it is just going hard on the romance part with just a little bit of that weird, this is the world we live in, people get their memories wiped, don't ask questions sort of scenario going on. I will ask questions. I have so many freaking questions. Teenagers deserve better. You deserve better. Read better books. If I can think of any, I will try to put some better books for teenagers in the doobly-doo. And this thing, it's got a 4.30 score on Goodreads. I don't get it. I'm sorry. My husband just got home with groceries, so I'm gonna have to end this read-along now. If you are looking for a book to cleanse your palate from this monstrosity, may I recommend The Wolf and the Hawk, my fantasy romance, which at least I'm pretty sure has consistent character ages in it, so at least there's that. And also, nobody's memory gets wiped for stupid reasons. I do other read-alongs, I've done other read-alongs, so if you want to listen to any of them, definitely check them out. I will be sure to alert you when we do a vote for our next read-along, but I often need a little break in between these because it's kind of intensive. These are a lot of work, so do go check out everything else on my channel. I post videos at least twice a week. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo for ease of your clicking, and I will see all of you again next time. Don't forget my Patreon. Also, I forgot to mention that. I have a Patreon. Oops. I'll see you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... Oh hey, I've been working out my muscles because I have got a lot of patrons to read, and it's gonna take me all my energy. Let's go. We've got Steve, Puppet Master, Rainfall, Kit, Hidden Glade, Persephone, Light Julie, OS, Anna, Belle, Patrick, Anne Sophie, Callison, Ray, Artemis, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Irene, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, Lisa, Sarah, and Lennox. Whew! That was a workout, but I made it through. And you can bet that you have never heard of a better group of patrons in your entire life. You haven't. You just haven't. It's impossible.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.